Hi BL, how are you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Hope you guys can see me okay, hear me all right. Hey Anne, hey Julia, good to see you. Thanks BL. Super quiet markets. So if you had any, yeah, BL just beat me to that. It's a quiet day ahead. It does look like it. If you did get into any trades, do put into the chat, let me know. Now, question is, would you prefer a quiet day or would you prefer a choppy day? A choppy price action day or a quiet, hardly moving day? Something interesting. Which one would you prefer? Yes, it is Thanksgiving in the US today, or coming up. Hey Pips Apprentice, how are you doing? I look forward to seeing one day where your nickname changed from Pips Apprentice to Pips Mastery. That would be super cool. Riot said lost on UJ and UZ? What's UZ? Quiet day because I'm not trading today. Maybe good for scalp. Nah, it's not really good for scalp. I have been watching it, trying to think of any trades to jump into, but nothing much so far. Hey Jack, how you doing? Alrighty, so thank you all again for joining me on this Thanksgiving Thursday. So good to see you guys on the session. If you're new to the session, drop a message, say hi. And if you can help me out massively, do remember to click that like and subscribe button on YouTube, and on TradingView, that little rocket ship boosting button. Okay, during this daily market analysis, what I have been doing for quite a number of months now, quite a number of sessions now, is on a daily basis, almost on a daily basis, I share with you my thoughts and views about the markets, about where I think prices could head towards. Today being later today being Thanksgiving in the US, we are anticipating very quiet market conditions. Not very quiet, maybe just quiet market conditions. So it might be a bit interesting in terms of our setups for today. We'll see how it goes, okay? Hey Jimmy, good to see you. A quick risk disclaimer first. Any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, so please remember that your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. With that said, let's jump straight to it. Typically on a session like this, I would say, it's going to be a little bit quiet. It might be a short and sharp session. But last few times I say it's a short and sharp session, we end up still running the full 1 hour. So we'll see how it goes for today. With that, what happened since the last time we spoke on Wednesday was our session yesterday. And since then we had the US unemployment claims was 209K. So that's a relatively good number, slightly good number because less people claiming for unemployment benefits, but it was offset with not very good numbers on the durable goods orders at minus 5.4% compared to the previous, which was 4.7, revised slightly downwards to 4.6. Expected minus 3.2 came out minus 5.4. Core durable goods at 0.5, revised down to 0.4. was expected to be at 0.2, came out at 0. So not very good numbers here, or rather a mixed bag of numbers here for the US at 9:30 p.m. Data release. And you can see that because of that, zoom in a little bit, put a line there at 9. Right, we saw that push up, but then as it pushed up, it started retracing back down again. Why so? Firstly, that mixed number, so we saw a bit of a push up and then that retrace back down as possibly as one of the reasons because of this mixed bag of numbers. Consumer sentiment at 11 p.m. saw it go from 60.4 to 61.3, pretty much as expected. They were expecting 61.1, right? So at 11 you saw right at that point there, it pushed up a little bit more, didn't manage to sustain strongly above that 61.8 level before trading back down again. So like we were saying yesterday, right, continued recovery in strength to that 104 resistance level, could consolidate there. It did get up to 104, as high as 104.20, and then after that came back down to push down back to almost where we started from yesterday. We were at this point here on yesterday, 3 p.m. So, right, so it's back at that same level right now. Okay, let me take that away for now. Okay, so that was pretty much what happened. We saw a spike up, we saw it come back down, we're back at the same starting point. Hey Angel Case, good morning, how you doing? Hey Hiker's Diary, good to see you. Hi David, good morning. Right, so it's right back at this same point. We can draw this right up to, let me take that away, right up to that at 104.20. You can see that it pretty much came back down to 61.8 and found a bit of a support there. Okay, so it's still at that level of support. So that was what happened since we last spoke yesterday through to today, where we had BOC, Bank of Canada Governor McCallum speaking at 12:30 a.m. GMT plus 8. It was released at a later, 15 minutes later, spoke at the St. John Region Chamber of Commerce in New Brunswick. Didn't do too much, or didn't have too much to as a headliner, so not super worried about that. What we do have today is the Japanese on a bank holiday. We spoke about that yesterday. Labor Thanksgiving Day in Japan, and also for the whole day today, we do have the US closed for observance of Thanksgiving Day. So with that, going to be, as I've been saying from the start, liquidity looks like it's going to be a bit low, a bit thin. But before that, for the rest of the day, we do have PMI numbers to be released for the Eurozone, right? French manufacturing and services PMI, German manufacturing and services PMI, the Eurozone, and then also the UK manufacturing and services PMI. It does look like we're not anticipating big changes at this point, okay? 42.8 to 43.2, 45.2 to 45.6 for the French. German 40.8 to 41.1, 48.2 to 48.4. The UK 44.8 to 45, and 49.5 to staying at 49.5. Ultimately, what I'm focused on here on the PMI is that if it all stays in that 40 range, it would signify that, or indicate that the manufacturing and services sector for the Euro and also for the UK is still in that contractionary phase. right? If it stays along that 40 range. Only if it breaks above 50, then we're going to say that it's in the expansionary phase. But looking at this, I don't think there's going to be or it's unlikely to be a threat for it to break into that expansionary phase. And if it doesn't get into the expansionary phase, then we're going to anticipate further weakness, possibly further weakness or some weakness on the euro and also on the pound dollar. Okay, so that's relatively straightforward. Starts at 4.15 and then gets released through to 5.30. What else do we have until our next time we speak? Well, very quiet session, and then not much else. President Lagarde speaking tomorrow at the Euro 20 plus. Might have some volatility there, and then the US manufacturing and services PMI to be released. This case, I'll tell you more about that tomorrow, but this case we're looking at possibly breaking through that 50 level down to 40s, which could signal a contraction in the manufacturing sector. And that's possibly threatening to get into that under 50 level as well. Okay, but we'll tell you more about that tomorrow. It might still be very thin liquidity through to tomorrow. It is Black Friday, most people will be shopping online, and the thing is that, what is this? What's happening here? Hang on. Sorry, 1 second. Something's going on with my what's this? Okay, someone's just spamming my whole TradingView chat. I have no idea what's that. All right, we'll figure that one out later. Anyway, bring that back up. Yeah, something crazy just happened on TradingView chat. Don't know what happened there. Okay, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so it's, you know, Thanksgiving today through to Friday might be a little bit thin. We have the weekends after that. So it looks like it might be a quiet couple of days, today and tomorrow. Okay. Man, how do I get rid of that? Yeah, guys, those on TradingView, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's happening. We're getting spammed messages like endlessly. Give me 1 second. Why does funny things always happen? Yeah, someone's spamming my TradingView chat. I guess you guys on TradingView will see that, but we'll just bear with that and see how it goes from there. And yeah, don't click on that. It doesn't look like it's a legit thing. I'm not sure. I can't verify whether it's a legit thing, so just be careful of the links that you click in the chat. Okay. Hey Ayakami, how are you doing? Hiker's Diary is asking about relationship between the US bond yield and the forex market, how it works. Pretty sure I did a post on that. Hiker's Diary. Let me just double check that. Where was it? Did I do a post on that? I'm pretty sure I did a post on that. There you go. So you can go check that one out. Relationship between the 10-year yield and the DXY. So you can check that, and we spoke about the relationship of the DXY with the other pairs as well. So I'll put that link in there for you, Hiker's Diary. You can check that out after the session. Okay, so with that, what was I doing? Nothing much here. Okay, so looking at the charts. Now that the dollar index has found support at 103.58, right? You see that as a little bit of a support area, bouncing off that 61.8 level. You're most welcome there, Hiker's Diary. With liquidity being that thin, I would say that we take 50 away because 50 has been broken. 61.8 technically broken, but I'll still keep that there just because it broke and came right back down. I would say that I would still be looking for the dollar index to trade up to that 104 level. Okay, so today being the 23rd of November, we're looking at the dollar index climbing. I'm not even sure if it's going to go all the way. Let's climb up there. Let me just think a little bit. Let's see how it goes from here. That 61.8 is there. It's bound to break that, so that's fine. I would see this coming back up around there. Because there's no big reason why it should have a big push on either side, right? No big reason why it should have a big drop or have a big push back up. And like we have been oops, no. What are you doing? Go back. Okay, like we have been looking, the CME in 20 days time, it's still at 4.8, no big change there. Okay, so it's still around that same level. So I actually think that this could sit here. I think it'll come back up to about that point. It might retrace back up to that 50 level, which is about there. So just below 104. Okay, so what I'll be looking for here is dollar strength, low liquid. I can't spell today. Low liquidity, retrace to just below 104 resistance. Okay, so we're looking for this climb back up to just about this range here on the dollar, about that point. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking for, some dollar strength to come back into play. Then looking at the charts here, this is the Kiwi dollar. We were expecting this to test and break down. It did come down to that 61. You can see it just touched. If I move this over to 61, you can see that it just touched 61.8, the retracement level, and bounced right back up. Okay, so that was quite a important level there, and I think we were saying that, right, that was an 80 pip move by a possible hesitation at 0.6, which was right at that point. Okay, so that's also one reason why it's important to identify, although you have your take profit levels at 80 pips, we were identifying that point as a possible hesitation. There was still a good 30 pip move to the downside before it bounced back up. The good thing that I'm looking at here is that it hasn't broken a new high, right? It hasn't broken a new high, and with some expectation for dollar index to strengthen back up a little bit, right, up to that just below 104, we could be looking for this to break down again. In this case, what we'll be looking for will be for it to break this support level, right, resistance to support level, to trade down. I would say about 6040. Stop loss no more than 20 pips. Take profit will be down to 40 pips, just down to that 61.8 level again. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking for on the Kiwi. 6040. Stop loss no more than 20 pips. Take profit at 40. Not expecting a huge move because we're anticipating lower liquidity. Could it break up? Possible, but we're looking, unless the dollar index turns down from here, then you'll be buying this up. But if not, I will still be looking for that push to the downside. Good morning, Jamil. How are you doing? And then also considering these points, we have that one there and also that one there. Those can make sense. No, okay, I would consider that level still. Okay. So that's the view for the Kiwi dollar. Failing to break above that near-term resistance, turning down dollar strength, we're going to see a bit of a double top formation as well to push down towards that 61.8 level again. Then on to the Aussie, our head and shoulder pattern did not work out. It came down, tested the support level before bouncing off, so that trade did not trigger. We'll take that away, and now that the head and shoulder is invalidated, we'll take that away as well. You see that 50% is right there. This one I would be a little bit, we could go for that same approach as the Kiwi dollar. We could go for the same approach as a Kiwi dollar with a bit of a double top, expecting it to turn down. But what I note here, or what I would note here, is that it's not at a key level, right? It's not breaking a key level. I'm just checking this dotted line. I want to catch the more recent move, right? And I'll put that there. So two things to look out for here on the Aussie would be, one, either it continues pushing up. Just as I said that it turned green. If it turns up, I'll look for a reaction here and look to sell it back down. Or if it sits at this point like that, then I'll look for it to break through this support before looking to sell down. I wouldn't try and trade it from here. So on the Aussie, what I would be looking out for would be 6580, tight stop loss, no more than 15-20 pips. You could go for 20. You can even go for 15 actually. And then a good 50, almost 60 pips to the downside. Right, almost 60 pips to the downside. Or if it just sits there, consolidates, then what I'll be looking for, if it doesn't push up, only if it breaks below this support level, I'll be looking at 6515. Stop loss can be quite tight. You can go 15, but 20 will be reasonable. And then down to a good 50 pip move to the downside. Okay, so between this two, now look at the dollar, it's just sitting right there. Dollar is just sitting right there. I'm wondering whether it's going to come down and break, but we'll think about that as it develops. I would actually like to see this move more, right? Push up, test this level, do the same thing it did here, and to break down. Okay, so we have the Kiwi as, if it just turns down and breaks, then we're going to see a selling opportunity to the downside. The Aussie is now we're looking for a slightly different scenario for it to push up towards that previous high, test, reject, and then turn back down. Okay, so 6580, 15 to 60. Very good risk to reward there. Looking for that to play out. 6580. 15 to 60. Jamil, yesterday finally I win my trade hold pound in sell direction and made 138 pips. First time I take in gold sell. Yeah, gold did very well. We went to the level and slightly beyond, and gold 114. That's a 40-50 pip day. Good job, Jamil. Very nice. Super, super nice. Just looking at the dollar dropping. Question is, could it break this level and hit lower? Let's see. So I'm looking for that to test and turn down. Kiwi. Okay, we're still looking at this too on the dollar strength scenario. Could Kiwi test and turn down? No. If Kiwi breaks past this point, we could see it trade up. Okay, we'll see. We'll keep that. Then on to the US yen. You can see this is pushed up. So it did come down, test, and push up. Didn't get as high as we expected to that 61.8 level, but it turned back down following that dollar weakness. Very nice, Jamil. I'm so happy for you too. Okay, so 61.8 is held there. Okay, so 61.8 is held. Now I'm just thinking that if we see the dollar weakness come back into play, so we've been talking about Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar on dollar strength. Now I'm thinking if this breaks down, I'm not so keen at this point, not so keen on buying the yen back up. I'm possibly thinking if we can sell, because you can see the yen dropping quite strongly, overall move is to the downside. It's broken 23.6. It hesitates, likely to hesitate at 38.2. Okay, so we take that one away, and 61.8 is quite close to this support level. So what you could be looking out for here, if it breaks, to trade down with the hesitation level there. So break below, we'll say 148.65. Stop loss would be 30 pips. Take profit would be a good 130 to the downside. It's so close. Because it's so close to this level, I'll be looking for that move, but I'll be highlighting this point as a bit of a hesitation area. I think this level made sense here, so I'll show you. This level made sense when we had those points where it bounced off. Okay, however, if we go to take that away and we go to the current point, you see that in this point it's been bouncing around a bit. So I would actually revise that down to just slightly lower at that point, 148.20. So that would be my hesitation area. That also coincides with the 61.8. Okay, so about that point. 148.15. So I'll be looking for the yen to sell down 148.65, 30 pip stop loss, 130 pip take profit with a hesitation at 148.15. Okay, so we have that. Sell, this is our dollar weakness scenario, 148.65. 148.65, 30 to 130. Stop loss 30, take profit 130 with a hesitation at 148.15. Is that right? 148.15. Yes. Okay. So you can actually be looking to say, hey, even if I do sell down to this point at 61.8, that's still almost a good 50 pip move to the downside, right? So you could even be looking to say, all right, if it closes, comes down to this point, I'll look to close out 61.8 is a reasonable level that you might want to close out your trade at, or move it down to break even, and then after that, or a bit more to secure some profits, and then after that look for that trade further to the downside. Okay, that's what we'll be looking out for, and that actually I would say is quite reasonable. Unless the dollar strength pushes this back up towards resistance, then I'll look to sell from that point, because we have 61.8 and that resistance, that 150 level, as a good strong resistance level. Okay, any questions so far? All good? Put it in chat, let me know. Are we still getting spammed on TradingView? Yeah, pretty much. Take that away. Okay. Now with the I'm looking head and shoulders pattern. Head, shoulder, need to bounce back up a little bit more before the shoulders. Okay, so I think what Jamil is saying here is a shoulder, head, might bounce up a little bit more before turning back down, which could be a shoulder there. For that, I would still say that the neckline would be around this point, right? Or if we say it's skewed, but along this area. So confidently, you will still want it to break below 148.65 before you look to sell. Okay, so head and shoulder might form, but we still want it to break below that neckline before you get in. So that would be an additional confirmation if that does play out. Good spot there, Jamil. We'll look out for that. Then on to the pound dollar. Pound dollar sat there in consolidation. We were looking at that whole range, thinking that it had to pop out some way. Now, inverted head and shoulder. Let me see. That's already played out. I think you're talking about this one here. So that neckline is broken. That's already played out to the resistance. I think you're talking about that one. Spiros. But that's already played out. For it to drop, I don't see I don't see an inverted head and shoulder here moving forward. Okay, then onto pound dollar, that worked out very nicely. We were looking for it to test, right? Pound dollar, we're saying that, what happened here? Hang on. Okay, pound dollar, we were either looking to buy it up on the scenario that we see the dollar weaken, or we can look to sell it back down on the dollar strength scenario as it broke out. So it tested the resistance again. It did come down, it did break to the downside again, came very close to 61.8, definitely past 50. So that's done, good 40 pips there. Now take those away, trend line away as well. It's pushing back up. Okay, so We'll keep 61 there. Now that it's pushing back up, why is it pushing back up? Let me see. Dollar still weakening, no big news there, but we're seeing the dollar push back down a bit. This pound dollar now pushing back up. I would say that I'm looking for again a reaction at that resistance level. Okay, a reaction at that resistance level, but in this case remember that we do have the PMI numbers to be releasing soon at 5:30, possibly some not great news there for the UK. What I'm looking for is a test and reject. No, but the right one is now creating in US yen. I don't see a, unless you're talking about a really small one. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the inverted head and shoulder unless it's that tiny one there. But yeah, I'll probably be looking out more for that. Okay. All right. Pound dollar test reject. So very similar to what we saw yesterday. Test and reject to sell down. I'm just super concerned about this dollar. Looking like it might weaken further, especially if it breaks past 103.50. We could revise that view on the dollar. And if it does break past that resistance here, we could see more upside, but again, liquidity being a bit low. All right, later especially, what I would say is look for reaction at 1.2550. 1.2550. Then we have a straddle opportunity. Okay, what I mean by that is at that point, if we see it come to that resistance, then you could be looking a breakout 1.2560. Will that 70 pip move to the upside? Stop loss about 20, or look to sell down on rejection. The safer one would be at about 1.2525. Stop loss again about 30, take profit, could come down to the same point here at 70, almost 75, right? So I would say that I'll keep it along, look for reaction at that resistance for that either buy side or sell side opportunity. Put it in H2. Okay, I don't normally trade H2. I still don't see it. I still don't see the inverted head and shoulder, but it does have a little bit more potential for a head and shoulder. Okay. Now, yeah, it's pushing back up a little bit. Look for that to test and break down. Dollar still sitting right there. Okay. So pound dollar looking for that to push up towards that resistance test and reject. Then onto the euro, did not climb up as high as we thought, did come down to the support and beyond before bouncing back up. So this is done. Take that away. And this one will drag it all the way down here just to identify some levels. 61.8 is likely to be still valid at that point there. Okay, so we have 61.8 right there, 1.0920. It is right in the middle of that support and resistance level again. Anticipating that this is going to sit there, maybe push down a little bit before climbing back up. I would go quite similar to the pound dollar view and look for it to break above 61.8 to test that resistance and sell down. But is it going to move that much? Let's see how big a move is that going to be. That's a good, okay, that's a good 35, so that's still possible. I could still be looking for that. I don't think it will reverse here. I want to see that, so I will look for, and we might come to the scenario where there's no trades, no easy trades today. Right, so we're looking at 1.0940, stop loss 15 at the most. You can go 20, but I think a test and reject 15, and then you could trade it back down to that 60 pip to the downside. It's going to consolidate here. The alternative would be to look for it to sell down at this point. No, we'll keep with that. We'll keep with that. Could it turn down from here? So could it do that? But if it does this, just check this line. I'll revise this line to catch the near term level here. So we look for that. So an alternative view on the euro would be that it sits there, right? And if it breaks down, you look to sell it down. 1.09, below 1.09. Stop loss 25. Take profit almost 50 pips to the downside. That could, but I think what I want to see here, okay, I'm being a bit wishy-washy on the euro dollar just because I don't see it moving a lot right now. So I want to see it sit there, right? Either sit here or test a little bit before turning back down, or from here turning back down. Then I will look to sell down from about 1.09. Stop loss, I don't think we even have to go that much. 20 pips. 20 pips is reasonable. Take profit will go down to 47. There we go. Okay, we'll stick with that one. Euro dollar, we're looking to sell at 1.09. Stop loss 20. Take profit 47 to the downside. I don't see why I'm adjusting this is because I don't see it pushing up strongly and then turning back down again. Just too much, anticipating too much volatility for a possibly quiet session ahead. Okay, then onto the US Swiss franc, same view, right? It did a bit of movements, but it's still sitting along this level, so I'll maintain that view. Consolidating, well, not consolidating, but we're looking for a clear direction. So this is a do nothing on the US Swiss franc. Okay, if we look at that, it's just popped out, came back in, and it's still sitting at that level. Possibly now, because it failed to do any directions, it's going to be more driven by the dollar index. We might see a rebound back up. So I would say do nothing, but we're looking for possible buying opportunity. 0.8845. Take profit even at about, nah, it's terrible. Less than 30 pips. It's not even, you know, you're looking at that, but I don't see it moving that much. So I'll say that it's still a do nothing there on the US Swiss franc. Okay. Alrighty, so with that, then US CAD, the loonie did everything. It did everything that we were talking about, right? There was that flag or pennant. It broke out. It came very close to that 61.8 resistance level to test and reject. Tested, rejected, came all the way back down, found the support. We were looking for it to bounce up. At this point, I don't think we're going to see that bounce. Okay, so it's broken those levels. It's done the fluctuations, right? I don't think we're going to see it bounce off this point with the support level here at 1.3640. Okay, so these are all done. We can take these away. Now it's at this equal low here. What you would be looking out for is a reaction along 1.3640. Okay, if it breaks down from this support, then yes, we would be looking to sell down. If it bounces, you have that opportunity. In this case, you can see that generally, zoom it down a bit. Okay, in this case, you can see that generally the CAD, the loonie has been in that range, right? Has been in that wide range with the other points about there at 1.357, almost 1.3570. If you were looking to sell this down, then that's only about a 50 pip move to the downside. 55 to the downside, stop loss about 20 pips. Okay, so we're looking for it to break that support, so about 1.3625, 50 pips, 20 pips, 20 to 50, okay. CAD, we're looking to sell 1.3625, stop loss, yeah, 20, take profit, 50 to the downside. Okay, dollar being very interesting. Dollar being very interesting. It might even look like a retest and then a bounce. But I'm still looking. It actually has both that potential. Now sell trade. Which one are you talking about, Jamil? Then on to, so that one we're expecting it to drop. That's fine. Let me just do a quick review. Kiwi still sitting right there. Aussie looking for that climb and a rejection. Yen maybe forming that head and shoulder pattern. Pound dollar looking for that retest of the resistance at 1.2550. Euro dollar climbing back up, looking for possibly a rejection. Sweezy sitting right there. Loonie looking for a break to the downside. Then it comes down to gold, where we were looking for it to test and reject. Yesterday we said look for gold to test and reject 2007 down to 1995. It came to 2000 almost. You can see that it came almost to 2000. It was at 2006.50 and then rejected down to 1995 and down even to 1988 before bouncing back up. Now it should be, and I was telling you all right, I'm not looking to sell gold to the downside because of that massive uptrend that's on right now. You're only looking to buy it back up. You're only looking for buying opportunities. Okay, and you can see that it came down to that 50% level and bounced back up. So now what you'll be looking for on gold would be above 2,000. This would be a thin trade. Would be above 2,000. You're looking for it to climb towards, so above 2,000, you're looking for it to get towards that 2007, 2009 level. Okay? So it's done that retracement on gold, healthy for the uptrend. Now you're looking for it to break above 2,000 to trade to 2007-2009. Okay, that's one. We're looking at US CAD. Jamil was saying sell trade. Yeah, it just needs to break through this support area before we can look to sell it down. I think a sell trade now can work, but it would be a little bit too aggressive because there is a chance that it could bounce off from this point. So it does need to break through first before I would look to sell. Hey Stefan, how are you doing? You're most welcome. Gold still reacting at this point. Low liquidity, could retrace to just below 104, or if it breaks 103.50, could drop to 103.20. Right, it's just at that decision point now, but I'm looking for the likelihood of that bouncing off that point. Okay, with that said, remember it is Thanksgiving in the US. Might be a good opportunity to take a break, to give thanks for all that you have. Don't feel like you have to rush into any trades for today. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be easy trading today. Okay, so just don't feel like you have to enter a trade every time, every day. Might be a day to sit out and just watch prices fluctuate, and that would be fair as well. There'd be nothing wrong with that. Okay, so with that, please trade well, trade safe, or enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday. Take care, and I'll see you all tomorrow or on Discord. Take care now. Bye bye.